Hello and welcome back everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about the debut record from Midwest Emo trio Hospital Bracelet. To start with, I guess I'll say I've never really been the biggest fan of this style. I certainly enjoy a few records from the genre's inception, but it's never really been a sound that grabbed me too much. But I'm not going to beat around the bush. Hospital Bracelet's brand of poppier Midwest emo really works for me. In my opinion, honestly, I think this is a pretty incredible and promising debut record. This was pretty obvious to me pretty much from the get-go, from the opening and title track South Loop Summer. After a short guitar introduction, the song just bursts into life with these fuzzed out punky passages. The performances and production on this track and several others here really give the song a lot of life and volume. But I do think the two things that elevate this above most of the other stuff in the genre are the songwriting chops and the vocal performances. Hospital Bracelet actually do a pretty fantastic job of making almost every single song here memorable thanks to some incredibly sharp melodic hooks driven by the vocals, which are this great blend of impressive and earnest. In fact, the closest point of reference for me is actually Hop Along's debut record Get Disowned, thanks to the fact that both records have a heavy emphasis on vocally led melodies and warm, fuzzy, distorted guitars. But whereas Hop Along moved toward a more clean indie rock and folk rock oriented sound, I can't really see Hospital Bracelet heading down the same path. I think the core difference has to be just how much they take from the roots of Midwest emo. For example, there's a ton of math rock just sort of peppered across the tracks. The song Happy Birthday, for example, actually opens with a great little math rock inspired guitar noodle that ends up getting reincorporated during the choruses. It fits the high energy and the pace of the song. But the most math rock influenced song is actually probably the next one, Feral Rat Anthem, despite it being a slight slow burn. The song ends up focusing more on dynamic instrumentation to accompany the emotions displayed in the vocals, as opposed to the more typical song structure you'd see in something like Happy Birthday. Also, as Feral Rat Anthem is essentially a song about cutting out a toxic person from the lead singer's life, this makes a ton of sense, and I will say that I actually really do like the directness of the lyrics here, which yet again are a genre trapping, but that makes sense because emo was more or less birthed out of the 80s hardcore scene. To be honest, I enjoyed most of the lyrics across this entire record. The core feeling is this sense of meandering. Both the opening and final track focus on a lack of personal progress, and in these COVID times, it's not hard to feel the frustration presented, even if it's from a different core source. But hey, even if the lyrics were average or bad, the singer, Eric, sells them incredibly well. As I previously mentioned, I think there's a perfect blend here of earnestness and technical ability. Across this record, they display a nice range of powerful and harsh highs, almost spoken word and whispered lows, and a solid set of more middling melodies. Obviously, this would all be for naught if the music here wasn't any good, but basically every song here is memorable, whether that's down to a lyrical theme, a noodly guitar riff, or a wall of fuzzy emo, it doesn't really matter. I will say the only two songs that I felt were slightly weak in comparison to the others was Sour OG RPG and Sheets vs Wawa. Sour OG RPG is one of the more amped up songs on the record, but unfortunately it just feels less fleshed out than South Loop Summer and not quite as aggressive as Happy Birthday. I will say I did really like the lyrical theme and actually chuckled quite a few times throughout the song though. Sheets vs Wawa has the same issue in that it's my least favourite of all of the slower songs on the record. The first 2/3 feel really nondescript and the build up isn't super worth it, but I will say it has some pretty great vocal performances, so at least it's not a total wash. And while I'm talking about my issues with the record, I will say that I would like to see the band experiment a little more. This is very much just a helping of admittedly pretty great Midwest emo songs. But of course, having said that, the moments that end up sticking out end up really sticking out. South Loop Summer is an incredibly crafted song that sets the tone for the whole record, has some standout lyrical moments, and I love that little drum fill that accompanies the soaring chorus on this one. Happy Birthday, while not my favourite song on the record, has a gigantic mid-paced fuzzy guitar riff to close the song out that sounds like something a much heavier, like almost shoegaze band would pull off. On Feral Rat Anthem, you get some of the most impassioned, almost strained vocals across the entire record, and the entirety of Summer Friends is just incredible. The way the rhythm section play off each other sounds almost freeform, but it always comes across super naturally, not to mention the infectious chorus and tone of this song. I'll definitely be making sure to keep a close eye on this group moving forward, and I would recommend this record to basically anyone who enjoys rock music, regardless of whether you're familiar with this genre or not. This is a great little album with a lot of heart, and I think it will entertain anyone who wants a direct shot of driven guitar music. I'm feeling a 7 out of 10 on this one. Thanks for watching everyone, make sure to leave a like or a comment if you enjoyed the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this record if you've heard it as well, and I'll see you all around.